What's up, everybody? Chicago Gooner here, bringing another Arsenal talk. Well, 3 points against Sunderland. It's what we expected. It's what we wanted. It's what we needed. Um, Coming off the Anderlecht game, it's been a tough week. It's been a tough week for some of the players who have played all 3 games in, you know, less than 7 days. Basically, about 7, 8 days. They played 3 games, um, which is a lot, which is too much for some of the players. There was little to no rotation within the squad in those 3 games, which is something that you really need to watch. Um, Unfortunately, fortunately, they came out good. They came out very strong. They came out attacking right from the get-go. Um, it was just all in all, it was, at least like the last like 15 minutes of the game, you were kind of on the edges of your seat, thinking that Sunderland was going to equalize. You just kind of had that sick feeling just because that's how the season has gone so far. But like in the first 65 minutes, we looked great, I thought. There was some moments where you kind of held your breath a little bit, but all in all, I don't think there was too much to worry about, especially in the first 65 minutes. From the get-go, you look at the team sheet, you had Flamini and Arteta in the middle of the park, and that's troubling. Anytime you kind of see that, you almost kind of looked at the team sheet right from the get-go, and it almost looked like it was going to be okay. We're going to settle for another draw. Pretty much, if we don't scrape together a couple goals, like either early or in the first half, just because Flamini and Arteta, they're not attacking threats at all. They're never going to make runs inside the box. They're never going to make a nuisance of themselves. They're just going to stay outside the box pretty much and pass the ball from side to side. They're not going to really be a threat to the opposition. Of course, Monreal started at center half again, which I just do not understand. Um, you still had Chambers out on the right back, and then you had Monreal as a center half, which I just do not understand. Bellerin was sitting on the bench. He could have started at right back. You could have put Chambers at center half. You could even put Monreal at left back, which would have been ideal. When you have this type of, when you just don't have the squad depth, you're going to start running people onto the ground, and obviously that's what happened to Kieran Gibbs. Unfortunately, another injury. Hopefully, it's not serious, but it seemed like he was holding his the right side of his lower back, like near his, like his butt area, like he possibly pulled something, and even when he came off, and you can kind of read his lip, and he just said "fuck" like really loud. You could really read his lips there when he came off. So it's discouraging. It's very discouraging. Of course, like I said, when you don't have the squad depth, it's things like this is going to happen. Honestly, when you keep on running the same guys over and over again, uh, the possibility of injuries, the more minutes, the more games that you play, the possibility of an injury is more probable than it's not. And when you don't have the proper squad depth to rotate the team at all, stuff like this is going to happen. But if he is injured, now we're looking at 3 people from our original 6 are the only ones that are fit, with BFG and Chambers and Monreal are the only ones that are going to be seen fit for Burnley coming up on Saturday. Just don't understand it. Once Bellerin came on for Gibbs, then that's when they switched out, and they put Chambers at center half, they put Monreal as left back, and then they put Bellerin as the right back. Um, Even though Monreal is left-footed, even though Gibbs is left-footed, who cares? Put him at right back still. There's not that much of a difference. All you have to do is cut back and hit it with your left and cross it in anyway. It's just you don't have to be so dependent on if a person is right or left-footed all that much. And when it comes to squad depth, when it's putting the right players in positions that they feel more comfortable with, um, you know, again, things like this is going to happen, unfortunately, and hopefully it's not serious. Hopefully it's just some kind of like a little tweak or a little knock. Maybe he got kneed in his back or something, and he just felt like maybe it's just a bruise. That's something that can heal faster. But of course, his reaction coming off the pitch was not a good one. But in the 65 minutes, the first 65 minutes, it seemed we were attacking. Uh, our ball movement was good. We had several chances. But the only kind of negative that I would kind of complain about is sometimes when we get into that final third, the final 20, 25 yards, it seems like we run out of ideas sometimes. Um, it seems like we don't set up our triangles like we should and try to play that one touch, and people trying to make runs into the box or trying to make side runs or direct runs try to create another chance. And it's always been kind of a concern with Arsenal, but guys were trying to take shots on target. Um, Santi Cazorla had a shot. Alexis Sanchez again. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. A lot of players can learn from him. Just by watching him. Obviously, the guy just doesn't give up. I mean, that first goal, he just didn't give up, and he was pressing, and Wes Brown made a mistake, and he tried to pass it back to the goalkeeper, and it went about 5 yards because he mishit the ball. And of course, Alexis Sanchez was in on goal by himself, and when you're a world-class player, when you have that much talent, you expect him to finish, and he did. I mean, it was just a smooth finish. It was a little chip over the keeper. He was confident, and when you can make those type of shots, when you're that calm, when you have that much confidence, you can make shots like that, and it was just beautiful. Same with his second goal. It seemed like after the 65th minute, we became more defensive. That we were just going to get organized, play 10 behind the ball at least. Sometimes it was 11. And just stay organized and try to get out of Sunderland with a 1-0 victory and with the 3 points. And it got kind of scary there once in here and there, especially within the last, like I said, like in the last like 15 to 20 minutes. It kind of got, you just had the sick feeling in your stomach that something weird was going to happen. It was just how the season has been going so far for Arsenal. Szczesny had to make a couple saves. Nothing was really scary except for his header outside of the box. I just headed out of bounds. He seems to go through where he just loses his mind. He loses where he is on the pitch. I think he watched too much of the World Cup over the summer, and everybody was a sweeper keeper pretty much in the World Cup, and I think he just watched it way too much, and that's what I want to be. That's what I want to do, and just make the smart move. Just hit it out of bounds. Don't come rushing out like he did. He's already got a red card once already this year. He's already made a couple other stupid mistakes this year. In that all he had to do was head it out of bounds. Instead, he headed it right to the Sunderland player, and there was a wide open goal. I mean, it was wide open. I mean, after the guy tried to take a shot, he was wide right on it. He saw PFG just look at Szczesny like, "What the fuck are you doing?" So he just needs to clean that up. I mean, I would hate to think that he's going to have this type of problems year after year. It's stuff like that that holds him back. It holds back his confidence, I think, even as well. Going forward of being a possible, a world-class keeper. It's stuff like that where he just kind of loses his mind. But other than that, he didn't have a tough day at all. There's a couple saves that he had to make, but they seemed comfortable from my point of view. last like 10 or 15 minutes, we're all as Arsenal fans probably okay. Got to get that second goal. Got to get that second goal to really feel confident. Um, because like I said, how the year has gone so far. It's just sometimes you just um, something's gonna happen. But the last like 10 or 15 minutes was interesting because we had a ton of chances. Santi Gazzola had two sitters right in front of goal that were passed perfectly. I think one was from Welbeck and the other one was from it was either Aaron Ramsey or Sanchez. And all he had to do was one time it, put it on target, and it would have went in. And he skyballed it right over the right. One was almost like in the top deck. The other one was about like 20 rolls back. I mean, it was for some of his quality, he should be putting those shots on target. Um, because it's not like the ball was bouncing right in front of him, and I mean there were perfect setups for him to score the second goal, and he just didn't happen. Um, there was another chance by Colin Chambers earlier in the game where he just didn't have any options. All he had to do was it was a beautiful ball in from Alexis Sanchez, and if he just had a little bit more pace, he would have had an extra second or two to compose himself and try to put the shot was on target, but I think it could have been a little bit better, or he could have possibly, if he had another second or two, that he could have crossed it, and because Welbeck was making a run into the box as well at the same time. Um, but all in all, again, it was good. We should have had possibly we had 15 shots, five on target, uh, two goals all day. We probably should have had it should have been like 3 or 4-0. To be honest with you, with Santi's two sitters, I think Aaron Ramsey had a shot. Santi had another one earlier in the game where it just went, inches past the goalkeeper. But of course, getting that second goal from Alexis Sanchez, that's just not giving up. That's selling out every single time, especially when the ball is inside the box, and then and you're playing against a Sunderland team who are not confident, who are not informed, who are not um, who are almost kind of scared to play, especially after the thumping they took from Southampton the weekend before. Um, but that's just selling out. That's just, late in the game, when your legs are dead, and you're still trying to nick that second goal, and of course that's what he did. As far as the substitutions go, I thought especially after that 65th minute we started to look tired. Guys like Welbeck, even Alexis Sanchez, Santi looked tired as well. There's a lot of guys tired out on the pitch, and it was screaming for fresh legs. Even the Ox, even though he didn't play, what would he play about the last like 15, 20 minutes of the Anderlecht game? But he even looked tired at one point late in the game, and you were just kind of screaming for help. Fresh legs on the pitch that would have helped us defend better, that we wouldn't have to worry so much. When we went on the counterattack several times, in those last 15 to 20 minutes when the pitch was just wide open for us, when we should have had a couple more goals, um, those fresh legs would have helped out. And again, those substitutions, when you're just dragging people into the ground. The guys are probably dead tired right now. I hope Arsene is smart about this. We have another week until the Burnley game. We don't have any midweek game this week, which is nice because I think it's all Capital One Cup midweek for this week, and of course we're out of it. But I hope he gives the guys a couple days off. Sunday, Monday, give them those days off because I think they need it. When you play when you play 3 games in 7 or 8 days, and a lot of the same guys played in 7 or 8 days. Of course, you saw with the Karen Gibbs injury, things like that's going to happen. If we lose Welbeck or Sanchez before a lot of the other guys come back, it's we're going to be dead in the water. I think with this 3 points, I think it does. Even though we are tired, even though we've had a rough week, I think it's going to give us a ton of confidence going forward. I hope. Coming back at Anderlecht, and the Sunderland game with, batting down the hatches, playing organized, and getting 3 points from, an away fixture. I hope it gives us a ton of confidence. We go back to, I believe it's in the Emirates next weekend. Let me look this up real quick. Um, yeah, at Emirates Stadium Saturday, November 1st. So, hopefully it gives us a ton of confidence kind of going forward. Um, of course, Theo Walcott was on the bench. I was pretty happy that he didn't get into the game because, I think it was just a manager tactic to bring him back onto the bench to maybe that gives a little bit of uh, a pep up to some of the players. It kind of, a little bit of a refresh that, someone, especially like with Aaron Ramsey coming back, we have a couple guys coming back from injury that, maybe some guys can get a little bit refreshed. They can rejoice a little bit that some of our guys are coming back. Arsene Wenger did say that Theo Walcott is going to play another reserve or under 21 game. He'll probably play like another half, maybe a little bit more, to get his legs back, to get match fit, because he said he needs to get used to contact again. He needs to get used to getting kicked again, which is very important for especially for someone coming back from an ACL injury. Those guys, an ACL injury is just almost like kind of like a leg break. Kind of like what Aaron Ramsey had to deal with for about a year and a half, to where he didn't really feel confident with his leg. It's the same with an ACL injury. Some guys can overcome it right away, and some guys it takes time to be able to plant that foot and have the confidence to plant that foot, and that your knee's going to not give out on you. And um, obviously Giabi has a lot of that problem, to where he just the knee injuries throughout his career. Uh, you know, Obviously, it's something that we just do not want to happen over and over again, especially with a talent like Theo Walcott. So it's kind of nice to see that he was on the bench, but he didn't play. Um, but hopefully, they're saying possibly this Burnley game, because they said they're possibly um, this week. Uh, Theo Walcott might play. I don't know if somebody said it was supposed to be like either a Tuesday or Wednesday game. So if that's possible, he might play a half a game, a half of a game, and then come into Burnley and maybe play 15 or 20 minutes. That might be his first introduction back into the squad of actually playing. But again, we have kind of another tough week as far as games go, but they're a little bit more spaced out. We have Burnley on Saturday, uh, and then we have Anderlecht at home on Tuesday, and then we have Swansea away on Sunday, which is kind of good, because if you looked at this past week, we had Anderlecht on Wednesday, and then we had Sunderland today on Saturday. We only had 2 days of rest in between games, which is rough for anybody. It doesn't even matter how good you are, or what kind of talent you have on your side. Not having the proper rest or the proper recovery time kind of sucks, and you could kind of see it sometimes, especially when you got into that 70th, 75th minute, when you can see guys were tired, and their legs were just kind of giving out on them, where they couldn't run as hard as they were in the beginning of the game. Because sometimes in the beginning of the game, when you have that kind of when you don't have enough time to recover, sometimes it's all adrenaline going through your body rather than actual energy. But it's good that we'll have a Tuesday game and then a Sunday game, so that gives us enough rest as well. But I hope for this week that Arsene gives the guys at least a couple days off to really rest their body, to recover from this past week, because we definitely need it. Because after that Swansea game is a Manchester United game at home, and we'll have a full week off again, which is nice to see. But again, that week is going to be kind of tough with Manchester United on Saturday, and then Dortmund on Wednesday. They fucking lost again today in the Bundesliga. Don't know what's going on with them. I hope they stay out of inform. um, but they seem to be in form when it comes to Champions League, but then when it comes to their own league, I think they lost 1-0 today to Hamburg. So it's kind of it's crazy to see the ups and downs of Dortmund right now. Kind of almost seems like that's how we are, but we're just not in form in one way or the other. But hopefully with this win today, that It gives the guys confidence. It gives us a step forward because we definitely need it. Um, Depending on tomorrow's game or today's game when you listen to this between Manchester United and Chelsea, we're currently fifth in the table, 14 points. West Ham has 16. Manchester City with the loss today to West Ham, which was just a great game to watch. They're sitting at 17 points. We're 3 off of that. And Southampton won today 1-0. They're at 19 points at second, of course, Chelsea. Um, you're kind of torn between what do you want to happen today. Obviously a draw would benefit us, one way or the other, because it kind of um, keeps us right there. Currently we're 8 points off without Chelsea playing their game today. So if they draw today against Manchester United, then we're looking at 9 points off rather than 11. If they win today, then we're still looking at 11 points off. Um, but then again, you almost want Manchester United to fucking lose just because it's Manchester United, and you want to see them down as much as possible. Of course, Liverpool kind of wet the bed today too again, against Hull City at home. Couldn't score a goal at all. Again, didn't look good. I was kind of switching back and forth between the games. I saw the previews on Match of the Day, and yeah, they just do not look confident at all. Even with Daniel Sturridge, I don't think they would be a real threat because their midfield looks like shit. And all their signings this year look like dog shit. You kind of look at our signings with Danny Welbeck. He's already produced. Alexis Sanchez, obviously, one of the signings of the summer from any league, any team. He's just been producing time after time. Of course, we've hit that 1,500 goal mark today. We're second to Manchester United. I believe they have over 1,700 goals in the BPL, at least in the BPL era. So we're second in that. We've hit our 1,500 mark with Alexis Sanchez's 2 goals. I guess it was kind of a weird day because Steve Bold was our first BPL goal ever, and of course he's sitting on the bench next to Arson, and Alexis Sanchez was our 1,500th goal, which he's on the pitch. So it was kind of like a little cool, fun fact there for you. But yeah, tomorrow or today between Chelsea and Man United, obviously we want to draw. It'd almost be good too that Chelsea loses, but again, you don't want to give a Manchester United any type of confidence because, of course, if they win today, they would go to 15 points and we would drop down to 6th. Right now, we're on goal differential, holding in that 5th spot over Swansea City, who, again, we play soon. So, again, a lot of these teams that are below us or even above us, we still have to play West Ham. We still have to play Southampton. The only teams above us that we've had played is Chelsea and Man City. Everybody basically below us. We still have to play Swansea City so we can, we can distance ourselves from them. We still have to play Liverpool, Manchester United. Stoke City is sitting at 11th at 11 points. West Brom. We can distance. We can start distance. Yeah, I can't even fucking talk right now. We can start widening the gap between all the teams now. Hopefully, we can just start going on a streak. We can start going on a run because we need it. 5 draws. There's no one else in the BPL right now that has. There's only one other team that has 5 draws, I believe, and that's Hull City. Because we need to start winning. Because when you're looking at a Liverpool who has 14 points, they already have 3 losses, and they still have 14 points. You're looking at even a Manchester United. They have 2 losses, and they're at 12 points. And, we're sitting at, of course, we have only 1 loss, but those 5 draws, we got to start turning those draws into victories. Because their seasons are just as bad as ours right now, and they're right with us. We can't have that going forward. So we need to start widening the gap, and we need to start winning games. We need to start getting back to the Arsenal of old. Today we played in more of a 4-2-3-1 with two actual wingers, and of course you saw the result. You saw the attacking threats that we made, the shots on target, the shots that we had, the opportunities we had. Even though we didn't have, we had 5 shots on target, but we had. There was 3 by Santi Gazzola. There was one that's within inches. He had 2 sitters. I know there was one by Aaron Ramsey. There was one by Welbeck. There was one by Chambers. That we need to start finishing those shots. Um, like I said, a game like that, like today, it should have been 4-0 if Santi Gazzola makes it, 2 of those sitters. So, we need to get that confidence back that we can finish, and we just need to, I think from going home, Burnley and then Anderlecht, hopefully these 2 home matches really start giving us some confidence going forward, because we definitely need it. But other than that, that's all I got for you. If there's anything else that comes in during the week, whether it's any news, any type of, the transfer window is only 2 months away. Obviously, now with even Gibbs possibly going down, regardless of how long his injury is, we have to really start thinking if Arsene doesn't have that much confidence that Bellerin can start games like against a fucking Sunderland team, which he should have probably started today, regardless. We need to look at another fullback possibly to buy or to get on loan at least, because we have Jenkinson coming back next year. Bellerin's going to be a year older. Who knows if Monreal's going to stay with the team or not, but we got to think about possibly getting a fullback on loan, regardless of where he's from, just to add more depth to the squad, and definitely another center half. And if we can get that DM, if we can get a world-class DM, supposedly Sami Khedira is supposedly in the mix. Who knows? Who cares? Obviously, they're probably just trying to regurgitate stories from the summer to get Arsenal fans to click on their links. But right now it's we need a fullback and another center half during this January break. Which will we get it? Who knows? I mean, it's Arsenal at the end of the day. But have a good week, and yeah, that'll be it later.